Hi guys. I just came up from dropping Aunt's daughter. You can see the bus there. So I just want to do a quick video here. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We are 9,000 subscribers. Yay! Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. And I am so excited about that. And your feedback, your questions, I'm really excited about that. Today it snowed. My camera, guys, it snowed. It's very cold right now. It snowed. We don't get a lot of snow here in Kansas, but when we get it, we get it. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. Kindly consider liking my videos, making a comment, anything, guys. Share my videos. I need you to share my videos. My name is Charity Ng'ang'a. I'm gonna talk about a bit of stuff, but and I'm gonna show you that it snowed. Oh my gosh, it's so cold. You don't want to go outside, believe me. It's very cold. But life doesn't stop unless it snows. Like, they know that it's gonna snow like really badly. That's when they will maybe say that there's no school or all that stuff. But when it snows, it snows. When it snows, it snows. So guys, thank you for always supporting my YouTube channel. Thank you for always being here and being good. Now, this is just my neighborhood, guys, and so you can see, as you can see, the road is clean, but on the sides we have a lot of snow, because you find that there's a lot of cleaning that goes on when it snows. So they put some salt first, they put some water, and then when the snow comes down, then it just melts. That's why you find that the roads are clean, but on the sides it's still snowy. That's what happens, because snow can be very bad, and it can cause accidents, because what happens is that when it snows and it continues to be colder, the snow becomes like glass and it's very hard to drive. So guys, I just want to show you around how it looks when it has snowed, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that came up from the previous video. There were questions, and I'm so excited, guys. So if you haven't subscribed, we are growing. Now we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and I know you guys are going to help me to reach there. So I'm going to turn here. I'm gonna turn here. There we go. So let's look at this person was saying that the DV lottery really matters. The photo. This person was talking about the DV lottery photo. Now that photo really matters, guys. It does matter. And it's not what is gonna make you win the DV lottery. No. It's not the one that's going to make you win the DV lottery, but it's one of the instructions that they want you to follow. They want you to take a photo that meets their requirements. And I'm going to pin a video that's going to come up at 3 minutes 48 seconds, whereby it's going to talk about the DV lottery photo, because that one is important, guys. It's very important. And like I say, it's always good to follow instructions. And that's what happens. Even when you come here in the US, you will be prompted. It's a new culture that you're coming into, that you always must do. You must meet all the requirements. You must meet all the requirements. And they have them there, stated out in their website, that the photo has to be this way. The photo, it has to have a certain background. The photo, you have to show the whole of your face. Your ears should not be hidden, and all that is important, guys. So don't take it for granted. Don't say, oh, maybe I'll do a DV lottery photo, and I really don't put interest on it. Because I do remember last year when people were filling out the DV lottery, that it was a challenge, guys, and I kept telling them, I need you to take the right photo. Go to a professional and tell them, this is the kind of the photo that you want. that's gonna be helpful for you. So don't think that oh, if I did take a bad photo, maybe I might go through whatever. You know, there's a filter. I believe that the way US works is it works the same way. So if you have met the requirements, if there is a filter of the bad ones and all the mistakes that have been made, if you have a bad photo, of course that one is not gonna go through. So please make sure that you're doing the right photo, and don't say it does the photo make you win. No, that's not the right way to approach it. So just follow their requirements, because this thing is free, and it's good because they removed the passport. The passport was a challenge for everybody, because now, like for example, if you're living in Kenya, and I like giving an example of Kenya because I am very familiar with most of the things. You find that it's like 7,000 shillings or 6,000 Kenya shillings that you're going to use for a lottery. So it was kind of a challenge that people were not able to do the application. But when you look at the numbers that people applied, especially in Kenya, it was more than 4 million people. So that means that, oh my gosh, everybody wants to come to the US. So guys, I need you to take that photo very seriously. Now, filling out the DS-260, when is it done? As soon as you win your DV lottery, if you have everything in order, you have your passport information, and you have everything, you can fill out your DS-260 as soon as possible. It's good to fill it out. The early bird catches the worm, but still, if you don't have your passport ready, if you don't have your maybe your family's passport ready, then you wait until you get them. I had this person I was talking to, and they didn't have the right paperwork for their children, and so they did have to wait and until they got the paperwork. You can still do your DS-260, and maybe if you're missing some information and then you get the information before you get your 2NL, you can unlock it. Your DS-260, you unlock it. Look at how beautiful it looks, guys. Look at how that field looks. It's full of snow, guys. It's so beautiful. So you can unlock your DS-260, and you put the information that you hadn't put in. That one is done, and nobody is gonna penalize you or ask you about anything, because you find that by the time you guys win the DV lottery, what is being processed is the previous year DV lottery, and then when the year ends, when their fiscal year ends, then they start with the new one. So that's how kinda it goes. So if you didn't have enough information, you can still unlock your DS-260. And there's instructions how to unlock your DS-260 and put your information. So you can fill out your DS-260 as soon as you want. It doesn't matter what you do. Now, there's another one. So there was this question about the military that I was talking about, and then another person made a comment and said the military doesn't pay very well. Yes, it doesn't pay very well, but if it has its own benefits. It does have its own benefits, because, for example, if you went to the military and you are finished, you are a military person, so what will happen is that if you want to go to college, whatever you want to go and study for, you go for free. If you are in the military, they don't charge you. You go for free. Of course, there are some discounts. They normally have a lot of discounts, especially there's some things that they can do that maybe you as a normal person, as a normal citizen, or as a normal permanent resident, that maybe you don't get discounts for. That's another thing. You also find that the people in the military, for example, if you're a military person and you're living near where you are going to do your school, because you have to go for training and everything, you get housing for free. So those are some of the things. It's not that bad to get into the military, but because you have those goods, especially when we talk about education, because education can be expensive here in the US, especially when we are talking about pursuing different degrees. You find that of course you will get a grant if you are a permanent resident or if you are a US citizen, but still there are some points, like for example, you will be forced to take a student loan. For example, let's assume, I'm going to give my own example. I like to give my own example. Now, right now I'm in school full-time, right? And when I'm in school full-time, maybe I need some extra money. I have my grant, yes, I've paid for my fees, but maybe I need extra money to run my stuff. Maybe I want to pay this bill, or I wanna, because life doesn't stop because you are going to school. You still have to pay your bills. If you have a car payment, you have to pay. If you have, you know, all that. And I thank my husband because he helps with all that, so I don't have to worry about much. But let's assume like you didn't have like 100% support like I do, then you would have to take a loan to subsidize so that you can be able to pay your bills. And then when you pay your bills, then you will go to school without a worry. And that's where it comes in that a person has to take a loan. You see what I mean? But let's assume you had gone to the military, then you don't have to go through all that because they will pay for you for free. So the little that you have, even, you know, the little that you have, you'll be able to subsidize without even worrying. So that one is an advantage that can be there. And I also want to talk about the single parents, because there's a lot of feedback. Of course, like I said before, it's very, very important for you to bring your children to the US. But there can be some extenuating circumstances whereby you have a small child, or maybe you are not able to, especially you don't have anybody for support. Because and I need you, when you're watching this video, I need you to take a look at when I am driving. You find that where you are living right now, whether you are in Kenya, you're in Tanzania, or wherever, you're not gonna see like a lot of humans everywhere. No, here we don't have that. What we normally have is that people, you get in the car, unless you are in New York City and you're going to the subway, you'll find a lot of people. But some of the states, you find that it's very, very individualized. You know what I mean? You do your thing, I do my thing. You can have your neighbor and you don't know each other. You know, it's not that you hate each other, but that's how life in the US is. Like it's an individualized thing, whereby you can even live in a neighborhood. You know, like when you go to the village, you know everybody in that village. I do remember when I was growing up, we would be sent somewhere in a certain village, and we specifically did not know that place, but we would go to the shopping center and ask, do you know so and so's place? Now here in the US, if you go to ask someone, do you know somewhere, they are not gonna tell you. They are gonna tell you to Google it, because everywhere there's an address. Everywhere that you are going, there's an address. Even if it's someone's house, if I gave you my address right now when you are in Kenya, and you want to reach my house, you will come all the way to my house because there is an address. You see what I mean? So that is how it works. So we are kind of so much, there's so much technology that is very, very different from home. I know even right now, I was talking to another friend and she was telling me that if the Uber, sometimes they have just to like locate a certain GPS if you're going somewhere, and then they take you there. Or maybe when you are in the car, you can tell them wherever that you want to go. But Africa hasn't evolved to an extent whereby that you can put anywhere a GPS for anywhere, even someone's house, in the village, in a remote place, and you get to there. No, we haven't reached there yet, because you find that here in the US, everything is numbered. Like it's a well-laid system whereby everything is numbered. So when it's numbered, they know this person is here, this person lives here. Even when someone wants to host you, they are not going to call you to verify all that. But when you have sent the W2, when you have sent your address and you have put your social there as the host, they know everything about you, because they'll pull up your background and see what kind of a person is going to host this person who has won the DV lottery. So guys, it's like that. It is like that. And that's how here is. So you find that, let's assume that you won the DV lottery, you have a small baby, and you don't know who is going to take care of your child, because you cannot put that burden on your host. You cannot do that because your host is busy. You cannot do there. You know, there are so many. I would call it culture shock. So you're not going to be able to do that. You're single, you don't have a husband, and you know the African system sometimes can be challenging, because it doesn't put men into, it doesn't question men when they abandon their girlfriends or their wives or whatever, unless you have money to go to court and make that person accountable with whatever that they did. Sometimes it's hard, guys. So you have your child and you have come in, and your child is little. So there is nowhere that you're going to be able to take them to school and all that, and you're coming to start a new life. And let's be real, guys. I told you, and I've done several videos, even if you are a doctor, you are not going to come from Africa and go and start practicing. No, you will not. Believe me, you are not going to. There are some procedures that have to be followed. There are some steps that you have to go through until you qualify. You see what I mean? Even the people who come with agencies and they are nurses, they are RNs, they have to do the state exam so that they can get the license to practice. Because you cannot. And they, the agency guides them on what to do until when they are coming in, they have that license, so they are okay. So let us look at this person that is having a little baby, and they have won the DV lottery, and they have to come. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you is bring your child with you. Come with your baby to the US. And another thing that's very, very important, before you come, when you get your visa, you are told to apply for your green card. Please apply for that when you are at home. Do not come to the US and say that when I reach there, I am going to go to work and I am going to get my green card. Don't do that, guys, because that one is going to delay your plans. There are some of the things that you will need to apply, and you're not going to be able to, because they will ask you for your green card number. Of course, you will get your social. You won't have a problem getting your social and everything, but you still need that green card. It's very, very important for you to have that. Now, you can, and it's a hard decision to make, guys, because like for me, and it would be sad and it would be whatever, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do for your kids to have a better life. So you come with your child to the US, right? When you come with them, because you won't be able to, it's hard to afford. I was telling you about daycare in my previous video. I was telling you that it's very, very expensive, and maybe the daycare that you're going to might be more expensive than the money that you're making. Child care here is oh my gosh, it's so expensive. And I think that's why Americans, most of them, they don't have so many kids. There are some who have many kids, but a majority of them would rather have dogs instead of having babies, So so you apply your green card when you are at home. Please do that. Do that because it's important. Okay? Now, you come with your child here. When you come with your child, there's a certain form that you can fill out. When they are here, there's a certain form that you can fill out. And when you fill that form, then you can take your child back to your parents. That's a little baby, or a baby that cannot go to school. Because even if it's a baby who is 5 years old, their school is kind of messed up because they only go to school for 3 hours. So that one is still going to be a challenge. So you have that form. It's called I think the advanced parole form. I'm going to look up that form and let you know for sure. But I know it's that one. So that form is going to help you to re-enter US after maybe some time. I'm just showing you around the way it has snowed, guys. And when you look at this road, this one is not very very clean, but I just want to show you how beautiful it is. It's white everywhere, These are fields, these are farms, It's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. So I was talking about you have that little baby, and life happens, and when you have a child, and this is a new country, it might be challenging. I've seen people coming here, especially ladies, and having a baby and taking them back home, and then they settle, they have a house, and then they go back home and get their child. It's not a bad thing. It's a challenge, but here you don't have a helper. You don't, because the only person who can help you when you're single is your husband. This is let me tell you guys, here in the US is very, 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 very different. The way and I know if men have, I don't know if men have stepped up. And my husband, when you talk to him, even sometimes when you do videos, he's like, I never went to the kitchen when I was in Kenya, which is very true. And he talks about it every day. But when you come here in the US, the man has to go to the kitchen, regardless of what, guys. Because the schedule is crazy. You cannot go to work at the same time. Like right now, me and Francis do not go to work at the same time. I would not be honest if I told you that we wake up in the morning and we go to work. We don't do that. We work different schedules. I work at night, he works during the day. That's the only way it works for us. So that if kids need to be dropped in school, then they can be dropped in school. At least now Christine is a little bit bigger. She can take herself to the bus. Oli needs to be taken to school. She goes to a private school. She needs to be taken to school. Hi, when Gigi goes to school, she's almost to go to school. She's gonna go to school at the end of at the beginning of this year. That will be in August. Then I'll have to be taking her to school for 3 hours. So I go, drop her, and then I wait for 3 hours, and then I bring her home, and then I can sleep a little bit, and then I wait until 3 p.m. I go and get Olivia from school, and then I can come and give them dinner. So my goodness, what am I doing? So what I can say is that it can be a challenge, and you're able to do that if you have a husband. Now let's assume that you do not. You will need that, guys. It's not bad, but what I can say is that do not abandon your kids there. You know what I mean? Don't abandon them and forget them. You can do it for a period of time, 6 months, come and settle, and then 6 months you should be settled, because 6 months you can get 2 jobs, get an apartment, figure yourself out, and then start life. Go get them and start your life. So that one, I thought that I would talk about that because, you know, I was thinking, you know, when we came in, and it's good to be, like, to tell it as it is. I started working after like 2 years. It took me a while because Christine was little. So by the time she was coming in, she had to go to school for 3 hours, and Francis was working. So I wasn't able to go to work for a long time because I had to take care of those kids. I had to take Eric to school. Like, before, like, I got it together. It took a while, guys. It did take a while. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is it can be done. You can take your little ones, especially if they can't. If you have a child who can go to school the whole day, when they go to school is when you go to work. That will work very well. Of course, it's not gonna take you like a shorter time for you to be self-independent and everything. It's gonna take you a longer time because you would wanna work longer times, but you cannot because you have to take care of your child. Your child is number one. Here in the US is oh my gosh. You have everything that you are doing. You always have to have your kids' interest in mind. In whatever that you're doing, they come first. So you can do that. There's that form that you can fill out, especially because who are you going to leave your kids with? Especially the little ones. A big one can fit, a bigger child can fit into the schedule of your host's kids if they are going to the same school, because when you come with your child and they are school going age, they will go to the same district with your kids. So that one can fit, and you know that one is good, and you can go to work or whatever, and you can have a good host who will be like, I really don't mind watching the big ones, not the little ones. The little ones are quite a challenge. Nobody is going to agree to do that, but the little ones, you can what am I saying? So they can fit in the schedule of those kids, and maybe your host is kind enough and they will tell you, get a second job. And then when you get a second job, maybe you can be going from morning, and then when you leave an 8-hour shift, you can go and do another 8-hour shift or a 4-hour shift. At least you will be able to lift yourself up like very, very, very fast. So that can work, guys. So that's another consideration. There's another person who said, people are so rude. I was like, what the heck is wrong with this one? So, but I like those comments because they, you know, they make me think, and they make me like see the challenges that people think about when they think about TV lottery. So this person was saying, we are waiting to see a person who is going to host you with 3 children. There are good people out there, guys. There are good people out there. who can host you with three children. Yes, they can. I know they're good people. It's a little bit challenging. It's hard, but I know that out there, let me tell you guys, what I know is that God works in mysterious ways. As we were hosted by a young man, and we had 2 kids, and he hosted us. He did host us, and we will forever be grateful for that guy, because he took us in his home, and he helped us. You know what I mean? So you can even be hosted with 5 kids. Do not underestimate the power of God. You know, the grace of God. Never underestimate it. For me, and I normally tell you my story, I didn't have, and you know, one time I'll ask Francis so that we can talk about, so that you guys know me better. Because if I told you my story, oh my gosh, you guys would be shocked. But what I want to say is that before we came to the US, we lived in Kayole Estate, like a simple estate, you know, very low life, whatever. We had our businesses. I wouldn't say that we were not living a good life. We were, because we were in business and we were doing well. But what I can say is that we didn't have any relatives who lived in the US. And I like I tell you, goodness, and I repeat this every time, that if we were to be handpicked, none of our family members would say that they would come and live in the USA. Nope, none. But I don't know, for some reason, like for a very strange reason, I call it strange, I always told Francis, one day we are going to go to the US. And then he would be like, you're dreaming. I don't know where that came from. But I always looked up the people that we went to high school with. And most of them had come to the US. I hope I'm just showing you around. Just showing you around the way it has known. Now this road is a little bit different, and I'm going to meet a bus, so I'm just going to brake and go very slowly. You know, just because when it's this bad, sometimes the car might slide. So you are very careful when you are meeting another car, and as you can see, the cars are moving very, very slowly, very, 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 very slow speed. And that's how you drive. When it's snowy, you drive very, very slowly. You don't rush, because if you do, you might slide, go to the ditch. You don't want to do that. Right now I'm driving at a 20. That's very slow. And when you see the cars that are approaching, they're still driving very slowly. So I always told him that, because most of the people we had gone to high school with, they had come to the US, and I was like, oh my God. Others had gone to Germany. And then I always asked myself, why me? You know. And then we won the DV lottery. Oh my gosh. When I called my husband, I remember he was in Naivasha. He had gone to take a client. He was like, what are you telling me? I was like, yeah, we won the DV lottery. And I also remember at that time, because it was filled out by a friend of mine. She used to have a cyber next to my college. And then we went in there. There was this guy. He was a pastor, but he was a joker. He just liked to joke about everything. He was a very, very nice guy. So when we were going to check, he was like, DV lottery is a dream. Nobody can win it. So we did a check for my husband, and then that one had not won. And he was still sitting there and laughing. And then he was like, oh, I told you, you can never win DV lottery size. You know, it's not a real thing. And then we checked mine. And then he said, you have been selected. That guy was shocked. He was like, oh my God. He was shocked. Oh my goodness. He was shocked that I don't know what I can tell you, but I could see the shock in his face. So what am I trying to tell you? When you say that you are waiting to see for someone who is gonna host a family of 3, it can happen. Believe me, it can. Because miracles, wonders do happen. So don't underestimate that thing. Now, let me see if there's anything. So I talked about being unmarried. So the last thing that I'm gonna talk about, as I show you around, I'm almost to get back to my house, is I want to talk about the age limit of applying for the DV lottery. which is important. My car is getting very warm. Still here, guys. I'm still here, but my car is getting very warm, so I'm trying to adjust it here. So let's talk about these kids of ours. Now there's another one who said don't leave your kids are gonna help you, and that is if they are older, they can help, but you find that here you can leave the older ones with the little ones if they are at a certain age. At a certain age you can do that, but if they are not at a certain age, then you can't do it. It doesn't work like that. I see a phone call coming in, but I'm gonna call them later. That's something that happens a lot here in the US, whereby you receive a phone call and then they're gonna leave you a message, a voicemail, and then if you are doing something, then you are not gonna receive that call, but then you're gonna call them back. That happens a lot. So most of the time you just call and leave a message, and that works very well. So I was talking about kids. We have kids who are finishing Form 4. We have kids who are who have already finished school. They are over 18, or maybe you have a child who is finishing Form 4, but they are not 18 yet. But by the time they finish Form 4, they will be 18 years old. By the time the year turns, and by the time the next year comes in, they will be 18. So those kids, even if they haven't reached 18, but they will be 18 the next of the year, please have them apply the DV lottery by themselves. Apply yourself, include them, and then have them apply their own individual DV lottery. That's important, guys, because you give them 2 chances of them winning. And it's very good for a young man to win the DV lottery, because for me, if you are young, you have won the DV lottery, you've come here to be by yourself, please go to school. That's my advice. Go to school, get a degree. It doesn't matter what you do. Go to nursing, go to engineering, go anything. Get that degree. Put it in your pocket, you're gonna get a good job. Because here, without like good education, you will still get a job. You still work manual jobs, but you have to work hard for you to be to live the life that you would want to be. Everybody loves a good life. I love a good life, guys. So I work very hard for it, and my husband works very hard for that. So do that for them. Another thing, let's assume like you had applied for your kids and they were already 18, they were going to 19, but they hadn't, maybe you applied today, but they were turning 19 tomorrow. Remember the DV lottery, that whole process takes like 2 years before maybe you come to the US, because normally what happens is that when you apply in October, November, then they close the DV lottery. You will check in May, and then you have won. If you have won, then you have to wait for that fiscal year to finish. And then when it finishes, then they start processing that DV lottery that was checked in May. So it goes all the way to the next year. Now, like the DV 2023, 2022, what is being I don't even know what's being processed. The DV 2022 is being processed right now, but we are in 2023. So the time frame might be, by the time that you are going to the embassy, your child has turned 21. That can happen. But you find that there is a law that protects those children, whereby even if they turned 21, they do not age out. They don't age out, so you will still be able to process for them. And it's the same thing, that is if they don't have kids and if they are not married. That's a clause there, whereby if they have kids and they are married, then you cannot file for them and their children, because it doesn't work like that. But if they are 21, but you had applied for them when they were below 21, they don't age out. There's a law that protects kids from aging out, so we'll still be able to process for them, and they will come and live in the US. And it's the same thing that people, when they come here and maybe they didn't have papers or whatever, and then their papers, they are good and whatever, they are able to get their children back from home. Although that's a long process, it requires lawyers and all that, but it still works for people. So you can do that. But if your child they haven't reached 21 and you had applied for them and then they age out and you haven't gone for your interview, don't worry, they don't age out. Okay, good. Now What else do I want to talk about? So help them, tell them to do the application because it's important. You know, for a young person to come in the US, that's, you know, that's a way, what can I tell you? You know, I'm talking to Eric, I'm trying to convince him to start doing videos of what he has been doing, so that the young people can have a young person to look on. I know he's been journaling, and he's, you know, he has his schedules and however he has planned his things and whatever. So that's something, you know, hearing from a young man, that would be very, 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 very good. So guys, I hope that I have talked about most of the things that I wanted to talk about. So there was one more thing that I remember now. I was trying to remember about this person. They are in the Middle East, and they did do an Apple TV lottery. But when they did the application, they got the wrong photo. When they got the wrong photo from home, they went ahead and did the application by themselves. Now, guys, there's one thing that I know, that DV Lottery wants you to apply. If you have families, put all of them there. So, and I don't like saying yes or no, because this is not like something like he's a lawyer or whatever, that I am his lawyer expert. This is my things. This is what I know. That's what I talk about. But I know DV Lottery, if you leave out your family members, you will be denied the visa. Believe me, you will. I know there are some people who go ahead and do it, and they go and lie and say that they don't have kids and whatever, but it becomes a problem in the future, because there is not that you're going to go to the embassy and say that you don't have kids, and then after you get your paperwork and everything, you are filing to say that you have kids. No, it doesn't work like that. If they find out that you have children and you did not include them in that application, whether it's your stepchildren, whether it's your, and those are the rules. I've done a video about rules for DV Lottery. There are so many rules there, and I read them one by one. That you must include your children, you must include your stepchildren, even if you're not living with them. You must include your husband, even if you're separated and plan to be divorced the next year. He must be included there, even if he's not going to benefit from the DV Lottery. And the only person that you are allowed to leave out is you are married and your husband died. Then you will enter that you are a widow. If you are divorced, and you have legal divorce papers, you are legally divorced, then, you know, divorced means that you are not together, like, you know, divorced. You cannot go back together. Then that one, you're not going to include that person, because divorced means you have moved on with your life. But this business of leaving your kids, you're not including them, and you know, I like to talk the truth. For me, sometimes it might be harsh, you know, the truth sometimes comes out very harsh, but it is what it is. And I like to be real, guys. I cannot come here and tell you that it's okay. It's not okay. So that might ruin your chances of getting the visa. You might win the DV Lottery, but you didn't include your kids. You had them. You cannot add them. You know that you win the DV Lottery and you didn't include your kids, and then you want to add them there. You are not married, and then you want to add someone who was your girlfriend and on that DV Lottery. And you know, it doesn't work like that, guys. Those are some of the things that they have talked about. And when you know, here in the US, when it is recorded, when it is written, then that means that they have to follow it. I normally tell you that in my line of work, when I go to work and I do something, maybe I do like can I say, maybe someone, I do clean up someone's wound, and I bandage it, and you know, I give them medicine, and I'll do all that. Yes, that person gets that medication every day, or maybe they get that treatment of the wound every day. But if I don't chat, I don't document that I did it, and I go home, yes, I did it. I did my nursing work. I did my whole shift, my 8-hour shift, my 12-hour shift, but I did not document. Then if anything came up without documentation, they will say that I didn't do it. So what I'm trying to drive through to you guys is that if you have kids, please indicate them, because in their rules for DV lottery they have said, I'm gonna do that one, redo that one once more for the new people, or I'm gonna pin that video there, whereby they say you must include all those people that I have said. Go read those rules. Travel.state.gov. The rules, the requirements of the DV lottery application, they're there, guys. If you read, it tells you do not leave out your family members. So it becomes a problem when you come here. Yes, you have your green card, and your mind is not here. It's in Kenya or it's in Tanzania, because you don't even know how your kids are. Maybe you're sending money at home, and when you send your money at home, even your kids are not even living the life that you want, and you're working so hard. You know, here in the US, people work very hard. You know, there was a time, oh my gosh, there was a time that, I think it's not even a long time ago, I was watching that people have been scammed, and they were buying a property from, is it Lesedio, whatever it is. And I was looking at the managing director for Lesedio. He's just a young guy who decided to con people billions of dollars. And then he uses the celebs that you guys see on social media, and then you are like, oh, because I've seen that celeb there, I'm gonna send my money and buy. What? Don't do that. Goodness, go to the ground and find out what's going on before you buy land. You know, for me, I'd rather, instead of buying a house that's and I'm digressing right now, instead of buying a house that is already built, I'd rather go back myself. If I want to buy some land in Kenya, go home, look for an owner, go do my search in the lands. It's gonna take time. Of course, when you look at the budget, and people, you know, they want to miss that budget. When you have to look at for the air ticket, you have to look for a place to live for that, whatever, 1 month, you have to stop working for that one. But do it instead of losing millions of dollars, because this money, you don't get it easy. You get it so hard. You know, you work so hard and you're so tired and you're so frustrated, and then someone is eating your millions. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be there. So don't do the shortcut. Read. So what am I saying? I am saying, if you want to buy a property, take yourself, get a plane ticket, take yourself there, do a search for the land. I would never buy land, you know, the plots that are, you know, they're divided and then you're given little pieces. I would never buy those ones. Like, I can't. I can't, but I would buy a piece of land, like from an owner that I know that is a title, whereby we even have to go to, they have even to bring their kids to sign some paperwork in front of a lawyer, that land has been sold to me, so that they don't say that their parents sold without them knowing, or their wife has to be there and sign, or the husband, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would go to all those lengths, and if I'm not able to do that, then I would not buy any property. I can't. And it's the same thing, guys, because we have deviated from the norm of doing the right things the right way, and we want to listen, we want to do our own things. And that's why you find that the DV lottery is very strict, guys. And that's why I'm telling you, even when you have kids here in the US, you don't play with children. Oh no, goodness, you do not. You can't. So when you're filling out the DV lottery, it doesn't matter whether you are married and you have another wife with kids. Those are your children. Included them there. Yes, worry about the consent later, because you will need a consent if you are living with, if you have another wife and you have other kids with them, but you'd rather be struggling with that. But you told the truth. I have 5 kids. I have 3 kids with this woman. I have 2 kids with this woman. It's okay. It's called a blended family. That's very common here in the US. And what I tell you guys is that the way the DV lottery is structured in the US laws. Because here, you are not going to say that you're not going to acknowledge a child because you left that woman and went and married that one. No. Actually, even when you marry, when you divorce and you marry, there is always an agreement that those kids from your previous relationship will be coming to visit you in your home. So that second person that you have married, they have to accept that fact that your kids have a right to come and see you in their dad's home. They have to go and visit their dad. That's how it works. It's called a blended family. So guys, I know that it's harsh and it's a little bit difficult, but that's how it's done, guys. So yeah, and I cannot insist enough. So if you filled out the DV lottery and you did not include your child, that's a challenge. That's wrong. Because every time that the DV lottery comes in, now I've done this DV lottery thing now for, I believe it's like two years. 2 consecutive times that I've done the DV lottery. I've always liked to tell you guys to go and read the rules. Because the rules, if you read them and follow them, they talk about the photo, they talk about the family, who to include, they talk about the names, they talk about the date of birth, they talk about everything. Follow them to the T, you know. Don't listen, don't deviate. I'd rather, for me, how I know the DV lottery is that I'd rather not apply if I am not going to include my kids. Because people have been denied. Even you have all the DV lottery, but you are denied. And you know, don't think that they don't do background checks. They do background checks. They do them. You know, they don't just, you know, nowadays social media has come to help. Because if I want to know stuff about someone, I'm going to go, first of all, the first place that I'm going to look is their social media. Because that's where we express ourselves the most. And you know, social media doesn't forget. So let's assume like you had posted a picture that is, that you had just had a baby. Social media doesn't forget. I don't know, for some reason, even if you delete it from your profile, the social media never forgets. So and then you go to the embassy, or I don't have kids or whatever, but then they had seen a picture that you had posted 5 years ago that you have children. They're not gonna give you. Now it's not like before where people used to lie that they don't have wives or whatever. Maybe you had you are in a relationship, or maybe you had a wife and then you decided to leave them, and then you want to say that you are not married, you're single. Well, they will look there, they will see. Even if you delete it, social media never forgets, guys. So let us be diligent enough when we're doing this DV lottery thing, and we do it right, because we want to bring our families. You'd rather you have brought you have all those little ones and everything, and then maybe you have to need some help. It's okay to look for help if you can't take care of them at first. Come settle, and then especially when you're single, and then you can go back and get them. So guys, I hope that this is a long video, 47 minutes. I drove for 47 minutes. So guys, I'm back home, and I wish you all the best in whatever that you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give it to Charities Bubble USA. So guys, I'll see you another time in another video. Thank you, and God bless you.